Hello, Year 2. This week we're going to carry on with the next part of our Perdu story. Just as a recap, this is the beginning of the story that we wrote last week, and here's my example. I trudged along the riverbank, dragging my heavy, aching paws and my heavy, aching heart, with my tail drooping low and my head bowed against the wind. I'm going to stop there, pause the recording now, and see if you can remember which effect I just used in that sentence. If you wrote or if you thought show not tell, you would be correct. My examples of show not tell are here, and my tail drooping low, and my head bowed against the wind, to show how tired and cold and sad Perdu is. Next sentence. Crash went the thunder in the dark sky above. Roar went the wind as it howled around my ears. Pause the recording now and see if you can remember what effects I used in this second sentence. Well done. Onomatopoeia. Crash and roar are the examples of onomatopoeia. On and on I dragged my poor tired legs, following the racing river as it overflowed with a lashing rain, trying to find somewhere to stay, somewhere to call home. Pause the recording now and see if you can say out loud and identify the effect I used in the final part here. Well done. Personification was the effect. The racing river, the lashing rain. And remember, personification is when we describe a non-human subject of a sentence doing something that is human-like. Okay, we're going to move on to the next plot point now. This is plot point 2. And this is the part of the story where Perdu follows a leaf as it is carried along a stream. The leaf leads him to a busy city and he looks for a home. And the 3 sentences we're going to use in the next part, the first one will include show not tell again. The next one will be a question to the reader, and the 3rd sentence will include an adverb. At each point, I'm going to pause the recording. I will explain how to use each effect, and then I'll give you a chance to apply it within a sentence, and then I'll show you my example. So let's start with show not tell. So I'm going to use show not tell to describe Perdu following a leaf as it is carried along a stream. So an example of show not tell would be, I'm going to show the reader how the character of Perdu is feeling. Now remember, in our version of the story, it's Perdu who's talking to the reader. So I'm going to imagine that Perdu is really excited because he's suddenly seen this leaf and it's being followed along a stream, and he's suddenly got an idea. So he's feeling curious, he's feeling interested, he's feeling excited. So I'll just put here interested, excited. Okay. So an example of show not tell would be, let's just imagine that Perdu is feeling sad. An example of show not tell to show that I would be sad would be, I dragged my tired legs along the path, with my eyes looking down to the ground. Okay, so that is show. I'm not saying I was sad. I'm describing how I'm walking along and how my body language shows that I am sad. If I wanted to show that I was happy, I might say, again, imagining I'm a dog, I might say, I skipped along with a spring in my step, smiling and wagging. Well, a dog wouldn't smile, would it? We'd say, with bright, shiny eyes, comma, wagging my tail. Okay, so this is I'm showing that I'm sad, and then here I'm showing that I'm happy. What I'd like you to do is, I would like you, let's imagine, I'll just take out interested for a minute. Let's focus on excited. Can you, in your journal, draw a line down the middle of the page, just like before? And I would like you to, I'm just going to move these over here so you can still see them. I would like you to think of your own example of show not tell to show that Perdu is excited to see the leaf floating along the stream. So pause the recording now and have a go at coming up with your own example. So hopefully you've paused the recording and you've got your own example written down. I'm going to come up with my example now, and you can compare your ideas with mine. So I am Perdu and I am really excited because I've seen this leaf and it's floating along towards the city. My ears pricked at the sound of the trickling river. My eyes darted around, and there it was, dancing on the surface of water. On the surface of the shimmering water, a bright green leaf. Ellipsis, heading towards the city. And so my example of show not tell that shows I am excited is my ears pricked at the sound of the trickling river. My eyes darted around, so my ears are pricked and my eyes are darting around, and there it was, dancing on the surface of the shimmering water, a bright green leaf heading towards a city. That shows interest, doesn't really show excitement though, does it? So I'm going to add on just another quick sentence onto the end here. My heart leapt and my tail wagged frantically at the thought of finding a home. There we go. So I've got my ears pricked up, my eyes are darting around, and my heart is leaping, and my tail is wagging frantically because I am excited. So the next one is a question to the reader. Now we've done a lot of work on questions so far, so this should be nice and quick. So we know that questions start with words such as where, and they end in a question mark. So I'm going to give you 2 question stems here. And what I'd like you to do now is pause the recording and come up with 2 questions that Perdu might ask himself. One starting where and ending in a question mark, and the other one starting what, ending in a question mark. So, pause the recording now, think of your questions, and when you've done that, press play to see my examples. Okay, hopefully you've got your 2 questions written down. These are mine. Where would the river lead me if I followed? Where would the river lead me if I followed it even further? What could be waiting for me when I get there? Question mark. Okay. And then the third sentence is adverbs. So we're going to use a fronted adverbial. So we're going to start our sentence, our next final sentence, with a word that ends ly, comma. So, for example, happily is an adverb. It describes how you do something. So in this example, I could say, happily, I trotted along with a new sense of hope and excitement. Or quickly, I ran along. Okay, happily, quickly. So quickly ends in ly. There's a comma after it, and quickly is describing how I ran along. I'll give you some more examples of adverbs that we could use to start our next sentence, and then I'd like you to pause the video recording and see if you could finish off my sentence for me. Suddenly. Excitedly, comma. So there's just 4 examples that you could use. You only need to use one of them, or you could think of your own. So for our final sentence at the end, can you pause the recording now and start your final sentence with either one of my adverbs or one of your own? Okay, for my final sentence, I'm going to say excitedly. There we go. Excitedly, comma, I trotted along, my legs no longer tired and my head no longer bowed against the howling wind. Finally, I will find my home in the city! Exclamation mark, because he's excited. There we go. So this is the next part of our story. My ears pricked at the sound of the trickling river. My eyes darted around, and there it was, dancing on the surface of the shimmering water, a bright green leaf heading towards a city. My heart leapt, and my tail wagged frantically at the thought of finding a home. Where would the river lead me if I followed it even further? What could be waiting for me when I get there? Excitedly, I trotted along, my legs no longer tired, and my head no longer bowed against the howling wind. Finally, I will find my home in the city. So you can either use the examples that we have just thought of and pieced together in this lesson, or I'll do what I did last time and I will just, there we go. If you find it easier, I will take out some of the words. Oops. And you can fill in the blanks. There we go. So you'll notice I've left in the LYs for the adverbs. There we go. So you can either use the sentences that we've used earlier, or you can use this to help you. And you can pause the recording here and write the next part of your story. So that's it for now. That's plot point 2. I'll be back soon with another recording where we focus on plot point 3.